Cameras. Recording is in progress. Absolutely great. Okie dokie. We are expecting Mrs. Doherty, our head teacher, to be joining at some point, but she just sends her apologies because she's currently in another meeting, on another Zoom meeting, doing something. No idea what, but she is on another meeting. So hopefully she'll pop in later just to come and say hello and introduce herself. We will crack on. That's the chat feature, that little box there. If you're unsure, I mean, probably by now Zoom has been, very prominent in our lives, so you'll probably know all about it. And that is the welcome bit. This is the overview for this evening. We've done our bit of welcome. We've got a little bit more of a welcome just to have a look at in a second. We're going to have a chat about the COVID-19 effect and just some general information we feel like you should know. We'll talk about the curriculum that we follow here in Rivercut, and actually it's the same curriculum across the country. Bit of a chat about assessment and tapestry and something called the government reception baseline. A bit of a chat about what you can do to help your help your child prepare starting for school. Obviously they've already done that because they've been in this week, which can I say has been really, really successful.
Fabulous.
Blown away with how well the children have coped with it, considering for some of them they've never been in the place before Monday, or they were in but ages ago. So they've done really, really well. We're really pleased. And then it's that what next has actually changed to other information, and then again time for questions. So the welcome. This is our welcome to you. We really do understand that the step into reception for some people, parents and children, is a massive step. If you come from our nursery, it's not such a big step. It's literally through a couple of doors and it's the same environment, same sort of space, so it's not so big for you guys. It's just with some slightly different adults. For those coming from out of our nursery and from other nurseries, it really is a big step. So we understand that you might be feeling a bit nervous, a bit apprehensive, a bit scared, a bit worried, and that is totally normal. It's a big step. Children coming into school formally, even from our nursery, reception is the start of their schooling life. Nursery is a little like bolt on to begin with, but reception is the start. So we do appreciate that you might be feeling all sorts of different things. You might be feeling like the woman there that's jumping for joy behind her little lad. She can't wait to get rid of him and have a bit of space and freedom. Or you might be the mum at the top, or dad, if you're a dad, that's gets a bit upset about these things and is a little bit worried. We appreciate all aspects. The picture in the top left of the little girl at the start of the day and the little girl at the end of the day is one of my all-time favourites in reception, because I think that summarises the sorts of things that can happen in reception. They start prim and proper, hair beautifully done, bow on top of the head at sort of 45-degree jaunty angle. By the end of the day, she literally looks like she's been dragged through a hedge backwards. That to me shows that she's really got stuck in and involved in all the things that we wanted to do. That to me tells me that she isn't getting engaged with things. She's willing to have a go, and it sends me the message that she's having probably a really great time in reception, because she's just got stuck in. So they will start prim and proper, and hopefully by the end of the day they will come out maybe not looking quite as bad as this. We don't aim for it, but they may well come out looking like this as well. But as I say, our aim is really to make that transition as easy as possible, both for you and for them. Okay, so some of the basic information and some... actually, just before I do that, I need to introduce you to someone else. We've got another teacher with us. So I'm Mr. Denham. I'm the early years lead. I didn't introduce that, did I, to begin with? And Mrs. Vaughan's also here, who is a reception teacher. So we are the two primary teachers in reception. So there's two classes in reception. There also will be Miss G, you'll hear a lot about. She's one of our TAs. She's not here right now, but you'll see her around. And Mrs. Davis, again, who is one of our TAs that you'll see around quite a lot. We also have another teacher that comes in when I'm out. Also on a Wednesday, I'm out of class, based out of class. So Miss Proctor comes in. This is Miss Proctor, just so you can see her and say hello.
Hi, everyone.
We just thought it'd be nice for you to see her. As again, you might be thinking, who is that funny old lady that's letting our children out at the end of the day? I mean, not old. I'm only joking, Miss. So I just thought it'd be nice for you just to quickly say hello and see who she is. So she'll be in quite a lot as well. Sorry, Miss, I'll hand it back over to you.
Okay, that's all right. No, just really, hello, I'm Mrs. Vaughan. I'm just going to give you a bit of basic information really about things that happen in school while your child's spending the time with us. Obviously, the COVID-19 effect has been an issue. I need to see the screen, Mr. Denham. You've taken me off screen. Technical glitch. There we go. Okay, so the COVID-19 is an issue. Okay, so we still do hand sanitizer every morning. We sanitize them when they come in from playtime. We sanitize them when they go out for play. We sanitize hands before they do anything. Obviously, washing hands is the most important thing, but getting 45 children to the toilets to wash their hands is quite a job. So we do tend to hand sanitize. We also do have a lot of cleaning that goes on in the classroom. So please feel that we are safe here. There is no issues with that at all. Okay. In regards to uniform and PE kit, obviously you've all had the order forms. Hopefully they've all been sent in now. So please, the one thing we say is please, please, please name your uniform. Every single part of their uniform, even down to the trousers, the pumps for their PE kit, every t-shirt, shorts. PE kit does tend to get forgotten about, but please, 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 please name. And the best place to do it, actually, I have one here. It's not named in this one, but it's actually across the bottom of the rib of the jumper. If you write in permanent marker across the bottom, it doesn't wash off, and it's a perfect place to put their name on it and things like that. You will all be receiving your uniform on Friday in the packs that will come home. Okay. Regarding lunch times, we do offer obviously full hot meal service, and we do like all children to start it like we've been doing this week. And they've been absolutely fantastic. Some have absolutely loved it. Some are not so, kind of thinking, oh, do I want to? But we want all children to try as much as possible their food. And we like this option before packed lunches, if possible, please, because we don't obviously say eat everything, and we would never ever do that. But we do encourage them to try most dishes and most foods on their plate. And when we think they've had enough, we will say that's absolutely fine, not a problem, and they can go and grab some pudding. We would never let a child starve, and we will always come back and let you know how much they've eaten on a day. If we start thinking it's going to be a bit of a problem, don't we, Mr. Denham? We'll always share that information at the end of the day.
We try to work with you as much as possible with it. I think it's a really nice place. Start of the year, all starting in the same position, and them all having a free school dinner. These dinners are free; they don't have to pay. Oh, hello! If you've just come in,
hi. Sorry.
Is that no problem at all? You okay? Just to mute yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. As I say, it's a great position for them all to start with, and for them all to have the same sort of meal. And it's surprising how many children who maybe struggle at home with food in school do really, really well, because everyone's doing the same thing. And as Miss says, if it's a major issue, then we'll have a chat with you about other things that we can do. But, it is our school policy that as the lunches are free, and they are healthy lunches, good, healthy, hearty lunches, that wherever possible, we try and encourage children to set those up.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's free. So take the option for the free rather than making a packed lunch at home. In regards to snack, we do have snack every single day. This is a carton of milk or a portion of fruit. We tend to do this at the end of the day when we have story time and things like that, but the children absolutely love it. And we have so much range of fruit. It's brilliant. We've had peas this week, podded peas, which the children like. And it obviously changes throughout the year, which is really good for seasonal things. Now, regarding the daily routine.
So, Miss, just on snack, milk is free up until they're 5 years old. When they get to the day they turn 5 years old, technically they have to pay a very small fee. I think it's something like 25p a day. The last few years, we've not had to charge that because there's been enough left over. But just forewarning, potentially, if you want your child to have milk after 5 and there isn't enough, we may have to say, actually, we're going to have to charge for 25p. So just a bit of forewarning there.
I'd forgotten that bit, Mrs. Denham, with all the past year that it's been quite weird. Okay, in regard to the school day, from September, we are starting the day from 8:30 with a breakfast club, and your children will be offered a range of breakfast cereal. Last year we had bagels. I think it's going to be the same way it is going to be this year. So they can come into the classroom at 8:30. They serve themselves, which, to be honest, sounds a bit daunting when we kind of go there. They're toasting bagels and buttering them things themselves, but they absolutely love it. They love the independence of being able to serve, pour the milk, do all these things. And yes, there are spills sometimes, but we just wipe it up, and it's amazing how quickly they learn to do these things, actually. So you can drop them off at 8:30 if you like, but the school day does start at 9 o'clock, and that's when registration closes. Throughout the day, the children have a huge amount of time to have learning time, which is their time to explore, learn, play, use all the things in the classroom. And throughout the day, there will then be focused tasks that me or Mr. Denham will have and ask them to come along and do. We do call these non-negotiable, so they do have to do these tasks for us. Sometimes they kind of go, oh, I'm in the middle of playing, but we make them very short, snappy, and they can go back to their learning time. We will also be doing, after the first couple of weeks, daily phonics. So that will be part of the day as well. And we'll have a meeting about that later in the year to let you know all about that. At the end of the day, there is also going to be an after school club now that we will be running with an external company, and you will be getting information about this in your packs on Friday. But the day is absolutely lovely. They have time inside, they have time outside, they have play times. It's a really, really nice day, and the kids actually turn to say, it's gone really fast. It's a lovely, lovely day. But what's the most important thing is that the children have time to play and learn through their play, and that is the most beneficial thing we can do with them at this stage of their learning.
I think with the routine, it changes throughout the year as well. So we try and mimic what the routine is probably like in their nursery setting. Lots of play, lots of time for choice. And as the year goes on, to prepare them for their next stage, their step into year one, then we start to look at that and say, actually, we're going to do more of the focused activities. We're going to do more of those things that we require children to do. And they're going to sort of narrow down their choice a little bit, because that's what's going to happen when they move into year one. So that's how it will start now. But as the year goes on, that will change.
Yeah, absolutely. And the last bit there, general information, really is water bottles. And we do put the emphasis on water. We are a healthy school. We do try and obviously encourage water as much as possible, please. I know some children do find it really hard, but if we could keep away from what I would say the flavoured coloured water, that would be really beneficial and really helpful. And please, please, please put a name on their water bottle. You will all be getting a free water bottle in your packs on Friday. Please add a name, because when we have 45 water
already,
bottles,
miss.
have they been named already? Fabulous.
Yeah.
That's even better. So yeah, it just helps them. But as I say, please, 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 water above anything else. Okay.
Just to reinforce, I think the biggest message in this section is anything they own, please stick a name on it.
Yeah.
We have lots of fun and games with jumpers, because everyone looks nearly identical. And parents understandably get upset when children don't come home with them. If they don't have a name on, that is much more difficult to be able to find. Sometimes we go to weird and wonderful lengths, like smelling the washing powder that you used. We've used that before, because we know what washing powder, it's really weird.
Weird how you do
washing
it.
powder that parents use at home. Oh yeah, it's this one's, because I can smell that washing powder on it. So, please do put a name in anything. I mean, if you want to stick a name label on your child somewhere, that might help as well. Yeah. Who knows? But the more you can name, the better.
Yes, please, 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 please. Okay, I absolutely love this t-shirt. This is basically what some of your children could come home looking like, and we will endeavour, like Mr. Den said at the beginning, to keep them as clean and tidy as possible. But these kind of marks are just an idea of what could be happening during the day. Things like they've explored the creation area, so they've got a bit of paint spatter on them. They've experimented with something, so they've got some bubbles or something on them. They've got a bit of pen because they've been in the writing area. They've drawn accidentally marked on their paper. They've got dinner, they've got gravy, they've got ketchup. They've been trying to use a knife and fork. I just love this t-shirt. It's just them experimenting, exploring, using their physical skills. I just think it's an absolutely fantastic teacher. So as I say, we do endeavour to keep them clean as possible, but please do not worry if they do come home looking like this. It just means they've had a fabulous, fabulous day of learning.
Like I said before, in some ways, my child's just gone through reception, one of my children, and if he comes home prim and proper, I always wonder, what have you been up to today? Because our curriculum is play-based. We want children to be engaging in play, and play by its nature is quite often messy. So I see these as badges of honour, and they just sort of highlight what the children have been up to. That said, we endeavour not for them to come home marked. We really do. We cover them in anything and everything we can to make sure uniform isn't marked, because we know how frustrating that can be, particularly for my wife when she has to wash it and trying to get on top of the uniform. Okay. Oh, if I'm a bit faster. Oh. Okay, so our curriculum then. So the curriculum that your children will have come from is the early years foundation stage curriculum. That's not changing massively. There is a new curriculum in place, or a revised curriculum in place that the children will be accessing. So there are some slight changes to it. I think the big thing you need to understand when thinking about our curriculum is that we see all children as unique, and that we understand that all children learn at their own speeds. Not all children progress at the same rates. Not all children reach the milestones at the same rate. Obviously, if we have concerns about where children are, we'll speak to parents about it and let them know this is our concern, and these are things that we're doing and things that you could potentially do at home. But children, particularly at this age, can really vary in terms of where they are, and that's not something necessarily to worry about. Children, as I say, progress at different rates. we spend a lot of time trying to make our curriculum as fun, engaging, and as active as possible, because we realise that the benefit this can have. Because if children are really engaged in what they're doing, really enjoying it, their progression is going to be so much better and so much quicker, which is what we're here to do. We're here to support the children with their progress effectively. So we put a lot of time on that. An example recently is that we have been doing the Evil P and Super Potato, where we trashed, and if you're from our nursery, they did it in there as well. So it was a whole unit topic, and we trashed the corridor, and we did loads of missions and things, superhero missions about trying to capture this horrible Evil P, and put posters up and did all sorts. And the children just hooked into it. And when they do that, we know that their progression is going to be even better than it could be potentially if they're not quite so engaged. As I say, we follow the revised early years foundation stage curriculum. It's not a massive change, but there is a change. There's a few things that from where they would have been in nursery doing things like shape, space and measure, that isn't in the curriculum anymore, or not as nearly as much. And there's new things in the curriculum such as self-regulation, which is basically all about how children can control their emotions and their behaviours and things like that. Sorry, 1 second. I've just had a message through to say I need to send the link. I'm just going to pause 1 second.
Right.
Thanks, Miss.
Okay.
Mrs. Doherty needs the link. I could be getting my P45. So when you see Mrs. Doherty, you tell her how good this webinar was. So I don't get my P45 from Mrs. Doherty.
We can see your screen, Mr. Denning, but I'd like to stop sharing.
I will stop share right there. I do apologise about this.
I'd like to back up what Mr. Denning was saying there. When we do things like the Super Potato work and things like that, me and Mr. Denning do get very actively involved with the work and the curriculum as well. We have been known to dress up as Super Potato. At one point, a couple of weeks ago, I was fully dressed orange and I was a carrot, which sounds a bit random. I had an orange wig on and an orange t-shirt, and we do try and make it as active and fun as possible. We've had people hiding in the shed because they were the Evil P. At one point, it wasn't this year, it was last year, a couple of years ago, I was the Evil P and I was actually put into a police car because we captured the Evil P. So we do try and make it as active as possible. Mr. Denham has also made the most wonderful tea lady on a train, because we did work on trains once, and we then turned it into talking about healthy eating and things like that. So the children absolutely love it when we go into this kind of role and we act and we do drama and things. They really do relish it. And when we do this, we always give them like tasks and writing tasks, and they relish doing things like that. And we put things all around the classroom. I've even had year sixes asking because they came and saw us do something once. So it really is an absolutely fun way to do it.
Okay, apologies about that. Hopefully Miss Doherty will be able to join us in a second. I've sent her the link and I'm sure my P45 is on its way at some point. So we follow the early years curriculum. As I say, that has been revised this year. So there's certain areas that are no longer there and certain areas that have come. Here is Mrs. Doherty now. Hello, Mrs. Doherty. Are you there?
Hello, Mrs. Doherty.
Can you hear us? Oh, I think she's
Hello.
just... Hi, Miss.
Hi,
Are you okay?
I am.
You're on there. Brilliant. We have let the parents know that you'll be popping in just to come and introduce yourself.
Very good.
So are you doing that now, Miss, or shall we carry on and...
You can carry on. I'll join in when I need to.
Okay, thanks, Miss.
Thank you.
Reception is the last year of the EYFS. That they'll finish it this year, and then they'll move into Key Stage 1 and then follow the national curriculum thereafter. Play really is, like we've alluded to already, at the heart of the curriculum. We want children playing with each other, interacting, exploring, investigating, and doing all those wonderful things. So our classrooms are set up very like in nursery for the children to do those. Like we sort of said before, the shift in balance between play and focused activity changes throughout the year, so that we're getting children ready for those next steps later on in the year. Essentially, play really is, it runs through everything we do. It's so important for those children that they have lots of opportunities for high quality play, both inside and outside, because it develops lots of the basic fundamentals of what children need. The curriculum is still split into 7 areas. 3 of them we call, prime areas, which are personal, social and emotional development, communication and language, and physical development. These things really underpin all other learning. So we spend a lot of time on embedding these things, particularly at the start of the year in reception. They do a lot of these things in nursery and on their sort of preschool settings as well. But at the start of the year, we spend a lot of time on how the children interact with each other. Are they able to follow the rules and expectations? Are they able to develop sort of their self-regulation skills? And we do that through something called co-regulation, where we're talking to children about how we need to react and respond in different situations. Communication and language is by far the most important area, because if you're going to struggle to communicate your ideas, your thoughts, your feelings, then you're going to find things really difficult. So what we try and do there is we spend a lot of time on giving children high quality opportunities to speak and to talk, to express their ideas. We spend time interacting, doing what we call back and forth conversations to try and develop that learning, develop that communication. And as I say, we put a lot of emphasis on that. We'll talk to you a little bit later about some of the things that we do to support that, particularly if children are having difficulties. And then there are 4 specific areas: literacy, maths, understanding the world, and exploring media materials. And they're pretty explanatory. I mean, understanding the world, that's more like your geography, your history, your sciences. And exploring media materials, that's like your art and being creative, being imaginative, that sort of stuff. But the prime areas really are our focus at the start of the year, because we want our children to be absolutely solid in these areas, because it's the foundation that all learning is then built on. If you haven't got the skills to be able to listen properly, or if you struggle to communicate, then all the other areas of the curriculum are much harder to access. Like Mrs. Vaughan alluded to earlier, there will be a phonics meeting. So phonics is the way we teach our children to read and to write. It's a massive thing throughout schools all over the country, but we'll have a separate meeting on that, because it's a whole nother sort of thing. This year we've gone onto a new system, a new phonics system, which has been really, really positive. And we'll, pardon?
I think it's been fabulous.
Yeah, it has. And as I say, we'll talk to you in detail about the things that we do in school, and we'll talk to you about the things at home you can do to support that. This year, we've also had the Nuffield early language intervention, sorry, that's come up, running as well. And that's one of those things that we have in place to sort of screen children with their speech and language, and then provide opportunities for us to put interventions and supports in place if they are struggling with that language and that communication. And again, that this year has been really, really positive in terms of providing children with the skills they need to be able to communicate at an effective level. Running alongside the 7 areas, we've got the characteristics of effective teaching and learning. These are effectively learning traits. And what they are traits that we want all children, and it's not only in nursery reception, we actually have these throughout the whole school now as well, that we want all our children to leave, so that when they leave Riverca, they have certain things like resilience, they're able to organise themselves effectively, and they're able to be sort of creative, they're able to be critical thinkers, all things that are not taught individually in the curriculum, but are all things that we sort of promote and monitor throughout the whole year. We use something called the Riverca Dinosaurs, and I've got some here. Some pictures of them here. We use the Riverca Dinosaurs to sort of promote these. You can see we've got like here Triatops, and we've got Stichosaurus. So these are about trying new things, and Stichosaurus is about not giving up, about being resilient. So we use like a fun hook that children really buy into to promote that over the course of reception, and also the course of their school life as well. If you're in our nursery, that was also in our nursery, so they'll be quite used to these. And like it says there, the characteristics are split into 3 areas: playing and exploring. That's just basic interactions. How are they able to go and choose to do things? Do they go and have a play in the construction area, that type of thing? When they're learning, are they active in that learning? So do they play alongside other children? Do they play with other children? Do they bring up their own ideas when they're playing? That sort of thing. And then you've got creative and creating and thinking critically, which is your sort of higher level learning things, which is them starting to be able to think about, well, how can I do this better? What ideas can I do to sort of improve what I'm doing? Can I come up with a new way of doing something? So it's more of your higher level thinking, really. In reception, particularly later in the year, we spend more time on those ones, trying to promote those. At the end of reception, because it is the end of the EYFS, all the children will be assessed against the 17 early learning goals. This will provide you more information in the spring term about it, but effectively it's a formalised assessment in time against a set of goals against each area of the curriculum. So within literacy, there's certain areas that they'll cover, or within math, there's like a number and patterns, so there'll be early learning goals attached to those, which we'll then assess against. You'll get a copy of those assessments, and they'll either be at an expected level or an emerging level. That's changed this year. There was other bands before. Now it's literally, yes, they're at the level that we'd like them to be at, or no, they're still not quite at that level, but that's okay, because in year one, these are the things that we're supporting them with. And that is fundamentally our curriculum. As I say, we really do put a heavy emphasis on that engagement, that enjoyment, that fun, and being really active with it, because we do see that as a great vehicle for children. Number one, to want to be in school and want to enjoy school, which is what we want, but also number two, to make really good progress when they're with us.
Absolutely.
Mrs. Vaughan.
Hello. Right. Okay. I'm just going to talk to you about what kind of assessments and things we do in school across the year. In the first few weeks of in September, the main thing we do is help the children settle in, and we do our own baseline assessments on basic things that they can do, and we have our own little bits that we will sort out. But we also use something called Tapestry, which is an online learning journey, and you will be able to actually log onto this yourself. Now, I will be able to show you another challenge that we're doing. So if Mr. Denham is able to stop his sharing, I can share my screen. Okay. Okay, here it is. So this is Tapestry, and this is one of our children that we have had permission for to look at. And this is the kind of things we add on to it, okay? So as you can see on this picture here, if I click on it, for this young little boy who's currently in our nursery coming into reception, it was a wow moment, because this child's been struggling using scissors with his physical development, and you can see he's holding the scissors nicely, he's cutting it nicely, he's being safe. So, and what we do is we record these wow moments onto Tapestry for you to see, and we add a comment at the bottom. We also put a bit of an assessment tool at the bottom, but this is more for our purposes rather than yours, rather than teach, but you can see these at home. And we have lots and lots of things, lots of observations that we add on here. And it's really good for you to add on as well, because when you log on to it, you see these things, but also when you're at home, you can go, do you know what, he's done this today and I want to share it with school. Take a picture, pop it on, and we get to see it in school. And a lot of the time, especially if it's something maybe you've done at the weekend, we'll pop it on the big interactive whiteboard and we share it with the rest of the class, and we allow the children to talk about what they've been doing at home over the weekend. And it's a lovely, lovely relationship that we can have with you at home. And to be fair, I hope I never use it in this way again for home learning, but it was absolutely brilliant for home learning. And I never, ever want to use it for that way again. I want to use it in a nice way, but it's really good. We shared sports day pictures. We had a fantastic, looking for the evil P that they did in nursery last year. It's just a really, really lovely way to share what they've been doing in school. And especially at the moment, with you not being able to come into the classroom, you also get the chance to see that in the classroom as well. Okay, you get to see us. I'm going to stop sharing, Mr. Denham. Okay.
Yeah, with Tapestry, it's really great for three things. It helps us with our understanding of where children are, and then that helps us to plan what those children need to be doing next. It helps you understand, see what the children are doing in school, but also it's a really good tool as well for those sort of everyday events like the sports day, like we had Wet and Wild. We share it on there so you can see those days. So we don't, and we're moving away from, we don't put lots and lots on there individually for children, because what we're trying to do is move to a situation where we're spending time interacting with the children, not standing back taking pictures. And that is a shift, and that's a shift we've implemented this year because of new guidance that's come out from the DFE. So you will notice perhaps not as many individual observations on there, but what we're aiming for is like a holistic picture of your child, to help us plan next steps, so that we can then spend as much time as possible having those high quality interactions to help them with that progression. I'm going to share my screen again.
Yeah.
And that's, yeah, effectively everyone there, as we've also mentioned. And as Miss said, if you think, crikey, I didn't know they could do that, pop it on, share it with us. Or if you've done anything interesting, exciting that you think your child would like to share with the class, like Miss says, pop it on there.
Yeah, please do. It's a wonderful thing to do. It's absolutely fantastic. If I was a parent now and I saw this, I would absolutely love it. It's brilliant. Okay, the other thing that we do within the first 6 weeks, we actually have to undertake a statutory reception baseline assessment, and this is given to us by the government. It is based on 2 components: literacy, communication and language, and their mathematical skills. It's a series of very simple questions, and then we mark it off on an iPad. There's no paper base, and please, 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 please do not make a big thing of it with your children. They don't even know they're doing it. They're just coming to spend a little 5-10 minutes with their class teacher. But the idea is that the government are getting an idea of where they start in school when they first come into us in reception. We don't get any of the information and any of the results from this. You will not get any of the results from this. The only results that are used are when they actually leave in year 6, and it's a score that's based from when they started to when they leave school. But please, please, please do not do any special preparation for this. It is just something that we have to do, and it's the 2nd year of doing this, I think, Mrs. Denham now. I think second or third year.
This is the first year where we have to do it.
That was it.
Pilot year.
Yeah, and it's just
it's the aim of this is to assess the school, not assess the child. Really, it's about seeing how schools perform, not how children perform. So it's nothing you've got to worry about. It's something that we have to do. As a teacher, I don't particularly like it, but we have to do it. We're told we have to do it, and we just we do it and we move on from it. We use our own assessments to baseline children through observation, and that gives us a lot more information in terms of supporting children with their progress and their next steps.
Absolutely, definitely. Okay. So what can you do to help to prepare your child ready for September? Obviously, we've had this week now, which is absolutely fantastic. The children have been amazing. They have come in so beautifully and so full of just love, care, everything. It's been fantastic. But there are a couple of things that you will get in your pack that goes home on Friday. The main thing is the picture one with all the teachers' pictures. Please just take time over the summer to have a look at it. Remind your child about who they're going to be seeing, who their class teacher is, who's going to be their key worker, and working with them, and just getting used to us as well. There's also a school readiness checklist in there with some stickers. Can they do up their coat? Can they get themselves dressed? Little things like that. And getting them ready for a bit more independence. So if they're not quite secure in putting their own coat on and zipping it up, have a practice over the holidays. Can they get themselves dressed in the morning? This is always a biggie because we do start PE and they do have to get themselves dressed. They do have to put their own PE kits on. Obviously, we are here to help, but when we've got 23 children in the class all getting changed and flinging T-shirts everywhere, hopefully with names in, because you've had
my goodness, don't we have fun and games when we learn to do PE clothes?
We do.
Yeah, there are some sights to be seen. And heads in different holes, trousers trying to go on arms, all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. And as Miss said, the more independence you can sort of give your children now, the better prepared they'll be in reception. And that's not just getting changed, that's with everything, cutting food up, trying to have a go at buttons and things like that. It's, the more they can do, the better position they'll be in when they come into school. So yeah, absolutely.
I mean, even little things like, can they start buttering pieces of toast or things like that? Because we'll be having breakfast in the morning if they're going to come to breakfast club. It might seem really trivial things, but actually it really stands them in good stead when they're coming to school. And as I say, going back to PE and things, you'll be amazed that sometimes they do come out with skirts back to front, dresses inside out, T-shirts inside out, but they've at least had a go and they've tried to dress themselves, which is really lovely. Have a look at the book.
And obviously a big day for that named uniform. That's where it's amazing that a child gets changed on one side of the classroom, but somehow a shoe or a pair of socks or some shorts have ended up in another side of the classroom, or even outside the classroom somehow magically.
Can happen.
So, like we mentioned before, having everything named is really, really, really helpful.
Really, really helpful, especially because they're all the same. Remember, everyone buys everything from Tesco or Asda, so that everything is the same.
Or the school.
Or school, yes, obviously. Obviously, there's going to be a little storybook in there as well, which is linked to our school, which is lovely to read that every so often over the summer holidays. There's a school readiness booklet in there as well, which talks about things that we would like if they can have, the skills that they can have. And there is also an All About Me booklet, and I have got one here to make it a little bit close. And they will come home on a big A3 piece of paper. Just a little chance to have a little chat. Please do not make it onerous. I do not expect children to do this all in one go. It could be done on separate occasions, but it's just got little things like, what do you like to read, what does the child like to eat, because obviously food may become a slight issue with them, how are they feeling about going to school, but just have a little go. But please let them have a little go at writing on it and drawing on it, and then you can always add annotations to the side. But it's really lovely if they could have an act of filling in the form themselves, because it gets them interested and excited about coming to school.
We will share that as well when they come in September. We share it with each other, use it as a tool for communication and them expressing who they are. Just a note on the book as well, the little storybook. That's a book about the day in the life of a child at Riverker Valley. So it's just a really lovely thing to share a couple of times over the holidays to get children in the mindset and be prepared about what's coming. You know, they've had a bit of a go at it this week, but this week's a very informal week. It's a very light week. When we start in September, then we're starting to build things up. And that book is great. It just showing, you know, it's pictures of the actual school. You know, I'm in it on one of the pages as well. Handsome guy with a beard on one of the pages. Look out for him. You know, it's a really good tool just to keep children thinking about what they're going to be coming to, because 6 weeks, 7 weeks for some of you after this week is a really long time for children to almost forget about what's gone on this week and all the progress that they've made this week with settling in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So a couple of other things that we've sort of mentioned, some of them. Please, any forms that you need that haven't been filled out yet, please could you get them into us ASAP, particularly the uniform form. If you're wanting your free school uniform, we need to know what sizes that they will need. So if you haven't managed to do that yet, please get that to us as soon as possible. On the uniforms, we're hoping to send those out on Friday with the children that are in, and they'll get the uniforms, and they'll also get the little pack with all that information that we spoke about in there. So they'll get in that pack, they'll get one of those little books, they will get their school readiness document. There's another form to fill out about tapestry, so please could you have a read through about tapestry, and there's some just requirements, basic requirements we need you to adhere to. The pictures of the staff. Another form to fill out, apologies, but this one's about speech and language. So if you've got any concerns or any concerns have been raised previously, again, we in school, we have a speech and language therapist, and we have lots of things in place to support children. The quicker we can know that children have a problem or have been highlighted previously, the better. We've put in some pictures as well of the classroom setting. Again, we didn't put it on there, but this is another lovely thing to share with your children over the summer holidays, and just have a talk about, oh, did you play in this area, or what did you do in that area? There is a leaflet, and it's on the PowerPoint as well, about our wraparound care after school club, breakfast club, and that's starting up again. So if that's something that you need and interested in, please give them a call on the number that is on the bottom of that, and just a little bit more information about school money. So there's lots of bits in that pack, which, as I say, will go home on Friday, along with all the uniform that you are given free as a welcome to Riverker. I think that is everything. Obviously, it's a bit of a whistle-stop tour. What's nice about next year, hopefully we're going back to some sort of normality. You're able to drop the children off at the gate outside the early years unit rather than at the top gates and things like that. So that's a nice step in terms for the reception children. We're really looking forward to September and welcoming everyone in, and we just want to say thanks very much for coming today and listening to us. If you do have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself now, or is there anything on the chat, Miss? I don't think there
No, nothing's on the chat. Nothing's on the chat.
Or catch us at the end of the day. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say is we do offer an open door policy. Obviously, we're trying not to get too many people into school, adults wise. But if you do have a problem, a concern, a question, please come and ask one of us about it. We'd much rather know about any concerns that you have than you stewing on them outside the gates and things getting worse. So please do come and speak to one of us about anything. Early years really is a partnership with parents. We need to be working together to sort of provide the best that we can for your children. And as I say, thank you very much for joining us. If anyone's got any questions, please feel free to shout up now.
Can I say hello?
Yeah, of course you can, Miss. Sorry.
You have to stop sharing your screen.
Yeah. There we go.
Hi, everybody. Can I just apologise for being late to join the meeting? I was at a public health briefing because you'll be aware that the government announced some changes for us yesterday, so we needed to be the most up to date. But I'd like to welcome you all. It's lovely to see so many of you joining us today, and yeah, really excited about next year. We are hoping, as Mr. Denham says, to return to a little bit more of a normal way of operating. So as Mr. Denham rightly said, that you will be able to come onto the school site, hopefully without having to wear masks and not really needing to stay that really big distance away from all the staff members. So it should feel a little bit more welcoming for you all. Do keep an eye on the website though over the summer holidays, because we will be being contacted by public health if anything does change in terms of infection rates within the community. And we also do have a dedicated email line. So if you or your child test positive, just to give the school a heads up. But the movement to not having to self-isolate whole bubbles is a real positive for schools. So hopefully you won't be getting text messages at 8:30 in the morning saying, sorry, your child can't come into school because we need to keep them all at home. So again, another real positive. But really exciting times ahead. Can't wait to see you all in September and get to know your children a little bit more, and get to know you, hopefully, by having a chat on the playground and things at the beginning and end of the day. So yeah, have a lovely summer. Stay safe, enjoy your children, but we really can't wait to see them in September with us all. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much, Miss.
Thank
As I say,
you.
if anyone does have any questions, feel free to ask now. If not, we will see hopefully all your children tomorrow for their
Yes.
penultimate not stay and play day in school and swap week. And then Friday, remember, is a full day. If you're not a full day, you're welcome to keep your children in for the full afternoon for our fabulous fun day on the inflatables.
That means us as well, Mr. Denham.
Yeah, that's if they can get us off it as well. I do like a big bouncy castle, so that would be great.
Absolutely.
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.